Here we are, guys, in part 5 of this story. The Ondaime Hokage unknowingly makes a change during the sealing, the consequences of which are unimaginable for both Naruto and Konoha. What do these consequences mean for Naruto? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. Jiraiya and Naruto walked alone, leaving Sasuke in the clearing they had adopted for a training ground. Sasuke was really giving his all to the new fire technique Jiraiya had taught him. He still has to teach me the Grand Fireball, thought Naruto. Sasuke had learned Sunshine from him, and had progressed rapidly with that technique. Naruto did not really need the fire technique, but he thought it would be prudent to have at least one fire technique in his arsenal. Do you want to learn a technique of the Ondaime, Naruto? Naruto turned fast to him, excitement on his face. You mean the Hiraishin no Jutsu? Jiraiya laughed. No, not that one. I do know the theory behind it, but the seals are customized so well that it can be used only by those with Minato's blood in them. It is a very powerful technique. Naruto looked a bit disappointed. Any theory behind the working of the technique would be of little use, until he had the exact seal array and understood it to the fullest extent. He really doubted if Minato had left the seal array scroll lying around. He had to speak to his mother. No, Naruto. I will show you the Rasengan. It is an A-rank technique that was deadly when used in conjunction with Hiraishin. The terror your father inspired with this is legendary. Naruto was really excited. A new technique. His Makuten, though it felt extremely natural and peaceful, was very familiar to him. Second nature. He had not had the joy of learning a new technique as Hashirama for a long time now. Show me, Uro-Sennin. Jiraiya adopted a deadpan look, holding out his hand. Money. A tick mark appeared on Naruto's face. Really, he had to pay to learn his own father's technique? He stared at Jiraiya with a cold look. Makuten. Jiraiya waved his hands fast. Okay, no need to get excited. Watch carefully Naruto, with both eyes and sense. Naruto nodded, satisfied. Pure chakra began rotating in Jiraiya's hand, contained into a sphere. The chakra seemed to be chaotic, thought Naruto. He concentrated hard, both upon the technique and Jiraiya funneling his chakra to make the technique work. Turbulence. That was the essence of his father's technique. The powerful chakra being moved in chaotic rotations, and being contained into a sphere. That's it. Jiraiya stopped his technique, looking expectantly at Naruto. The blue ball of chakra winked out of existence. Silence barrier, Uro-Sennin. Jiraiya nodded. Naruto looked at Jiraiya with wonder in his eyes, once they were secure. That is a beautiful technique, my father was indeed a genius. Jiraiya looked closely at Naruto. You look like you are familiar with the Rasengan. I have seen something very similar to it, but on an unimaginably larger scale. To mimic that technique. What technique, Naruto? Naruto looked at Jiraiya sharply. Baijuu Udama. The ultimate attack of the Baijuu, causing massive destruction. The Nine Tails could even penetrate my defense, even when I used the Goju Urishomen. Jiraiya looked fascinated. Here was someone relating legend, someone who was legend himself. Was it during your fight with Uchiha Madara? Now Naruto looked sad, thinking about his long-gone friend. He had tried so hard to save him, Madara had been consumed with hatred. He wouldn't listen. Yes, Madara. We used to be so strong, the two of us. No village dared to attack Konoha with the two of us standing to defend it. Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, closer than brothers, stronger than the entire village combined. Naruto shook his head, coming out of his reminiscences. That was a bygone era, and he would leave the past where it belonged. Anyway, I had that Baijuu Udama fired against me enough times to understand its workings. But the kind of control required to mimic it must be earned through practice only, that much I can see. My perfect control might help me learn it faster than others, but still it will take time, Naruto said. Jiraiya nodded. True. Rasengan takes shape manipulation to the highest possible level, Naruto. Even for someone with control like yours, it will take training. There are actually 3 steps to mastering this jutsu. The first step is... Damn it! Swore Kakashi. Guy looked at his rival as if he had declared he was Orochimaru's loyal subordinate. Kakashi never swore that loud. What is wrong, my eternal rival? Kakashi looked at him, his visible eye blazing with anger. Sakura has left the hospital. I think Itachi showed her something disturbing in his genjutsu. Something to do with Sasuke, no doubt. She left a note telling she was going to warn him. We need to pursue her. Guy looked at him warningly. We have to notify the council before leaving the village in the next few months. Those are the rules for elite jounin. Damn! Swore Kakashi again, and disappeared. He had to get these irritating formalities over with. If Sakura came to face Itachi again, she would die. He felt only little exhaustion, as he had thrown off the worst of the Tsukuyomi with his own eye. He had to save his students. The more Naruto got acquainted with Jiraiya and his eccentricities, the more he felt that his godfather was a man of his word. He was a super pervert. The first time he had accused Jiraiya of being a pervert, the man had with wide eyes and weirdly wiggling fingers proclaimed himself the super pervert. Naruto had scoffed, dismissing his boastful claim. The man had discussed with him the three vices a shinobi could fall into: women, alcohol and money. That hypocrite. He was currently indulging all three of those so-called vices, leaving him to practice the Rasengan. The first step was popping a water balloon. Since he had his epiphany about the Rasengan's working, he had tried to pop the balloon. He was close, and he knew it. He leisurely walked down the street, stowing away his water balloon. Control exercises like this one required finesse and calm, and could not be done with a frustrated mind. Anyway, he had to talk to Sasuke. The Uchiha had really been killing himself with that self-punishment he called training. Naruto appeared in front of their hotel, walked up leisurely to their room and pushed open the door. Sasuke was staring at open space with his Sharingan activated, presumably training his Dujutsu. Training the Sharingan, huh? Sasuke turned to look at him. Yeah. I need to use the Sharingan well with Sunshine. I have the eyes to keep up with my speed, and I will make use of it. What do you think? Naruto nodded. An excellent idea, Sasuke. A true user of the Sharingan and the Sunshine simultaneously will be fearsome. Just like Uchiha Shisui. I would recommend that you learn Kenjutsu as well. Sasuke looked thoughtful. Yes. That would go very well indeed. Kenjutsu was an extremely useful and sophisticated art. In fact, the finesse required for Kenjutsu would be higher than that needed for Taijutsu. He already had his sword, and he had Kushina-san to teach him. He had Naruto to spar with. Sasuke felt rather happy. His training was in the right direction. His momentary elation, however, was quelled by a shrill voice. A voice that was too familiar. Sasuke-kun. Naruto looked at the door in alarm, sensing Sakura's extreme agitation. Something had happened. Appearing in front of the door, he opened it swiftly to reveal a disheveled Sakura who promptly threw herself upon Sasuke, making sure he was alright. Are you alright, Sasuke-kun? Are you hurt? Sasuke gently pried Sakura's invasive hands off his body. Calm down, Sakura. What happened? Tell me, slowly. Naruto and Sasuke watched their teammate in apprehension as she took a few deep breaths to steady herself. Sasuke-kun, it is your brother. Sasuke looked on high alert. His face showed no anger, only extreme determination. Naruto stared into Sakura's eyes. He was in Konoha, wasn't he? Did he attack? Sakura gulped, and nodded. Tell us everything, now. Sasuke ordered. It was in the Forest of the God. I saw Kakashi-sensei, Asuma-sensei and Kurenai-sensei fighting Kisame and Itachi. Sakura launched into her story. Naruto ran full pelt through the town, casting around for his errant godfather. The man needed to be informed of this immediately, as he had the means to get the news to his spy network discreetly. There, a very large chakra. Somewhere near the outskirts. It feels like Uro-Sennin's. He disappeared with a series of sunshine, coming closer and closer to Jiraiya's position. There he was. Sitting beneath a tree, giggling like an idiot doing his so-called research. Hey, Uro-Sennin. Listen. Itachi and Kisame targeted Konoha again, and tried to capture Sakura. Where is she? Interrupted Jiraiya. Right here. She came to warn us, Uro-Sennin. Itachi and Kisame might target her at any time. Can you install some security seals in our rooms? Jiraiya nodded and disappeared. Naruto sighed and sat down in Jiraiya's spot. The man certainly knew how to choose his resting places. Trees were the best. Sasuke heard a knock on the door to his room. Not good. Jiraiya never knocked, preferring to come through the window. Activating his Sharingan, he went to the door and opened it. And stared up into another pair of Sharingan. His heart began to beat faster as he stared at the face of his traitorous brother, Itachi. Hello, Sasuke. I see you have a fully mature Sharingan. And Sakura-san. I am sorry. But I will have to kill you too. Sakura gasped, but said bravely. Do you think you can hold out against Jiraiya-sama, or are both here? Itachi looked amused as he disappeared, only to appear behind Sakura and kick her. But he kicked only empty air. Sasuke was on the opposite side of the room with Sakura held securely in his arms. Sakura looked dazed by the speed as Sasuke set her down. Itachi, you should never have come here. I have seen Naruto destroy an army. I know of Jiraiya's reputation. Not even you can defeat them, Sasuke said. He had long since taken Naruto's advice and had calmed himself during a fight. No longer did he simply fire up at the mention of Itachi's name. As Naruto had said, that was weakness. Anger was a weakness. Itachi looked at his brother. I can match either of them, if I have to. But as you say, not both at once. But I do know that you will never beat me, Sasuke. You lack hatred. Sasuke snorted. I have changed, brother. You won't dictate my actions anymore. He held out his hand and began charging it up with lightning chakra. Kakashi-san's Reikiri. Sasuke's hand was now covered in lightning, errant arcs of it dancing around the room. Suddenly he disappeared and reappeared almost instantly, the lightning hand buried in Itachi's gut. Itachi smirked down at him. Foolish little brother. My eyes will always be stronger than yours, Sasuke gasped as the world rippled in his perception, and he saw his hand buried. Not in Itachi's gut. To his horror, it was buried in Sakura's. His eyes widened as he saw the light of life leaving his teammate's eyes. Sakura gasped out with her last breath, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke could not comprehend what was happening. He had been fooled by Itachi into stabbing Sakura. He could not bear seeing Sakura gurgling blood. Itachi stood behind him. Weak, and blind. Sasuke felt utter grief exploding in his heart, as he lost someone he considered a precious person. Itachi was taking away one more. That traitor. Sakura slumped as Sasuke removed his hand, horrified. He watched as Sakura fell down to the earth. His Sharingan would make sure that this scene would forever be imprinted in his mind. Slowly he turned into Itachi, unable to look at Sakura. His eyes were burning, and shed tears incessantly. I will never forgive this. Itachi still looked at him stoically. His eyes morphed into his Mangekyo. Oh, and what will you do, little brother? Your eyes are no match for mine, I have shown you already. You are weak. The tears falling from Sasuke's eyes were no longer normal. The young Uchiha's face was twisted with mad rage and loss, as he cried tears of blood. His 3 Tomoe Sharingan changed into his Mangekyo Sharingan, and a sinister chakra exploded from him. He opened his eyes and stared at Itachi. His eyes were no longer normal, but consisting of 3 ellipses intersecting at the center. Naruto got up fast as he felt Sakura's wound, and the sinister chakra of Sasuke. He knew it too well. Sasuke had awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. Before he could disappear, he felt someone appear behind him. A very huge chakra, and it felt different and familiar at the same time. My name is Pain, Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Save yourself the fight and come with me peacefully. Naruto turned and saw something that surprised him to no end. It was a spiky orange-haired man, in Akatsuki robes. But his eyes. A wielder of the legendary Rinnegan. I have no time to fight you, Akatsuki. I am sure you have heard of my prowess. Let me leave peacefully, or else. Naruto had no time for the banner. His teammate was dying. He wouldn't dare underestimate the Rinnegan, though. Makuten, Jukai Kauten. Thousands of trees were born from the earth in front of him and rushed towards his opponent, who looked mildly surprised. Naruto exerted even more, and trees were born in all directions and surrounded the lone Akatsuki, hurtling at him rapidly. Pain looked at the trees rushing at him from all directions. This child was very, very strong. The trees were branching out and multiplying, becoming uncountable by the second. It seemed as if Pain would be killed any second by Naruto's jutsu. Naruto could sense a massive buildup of chakra from his opponent. Shinra Tensei. Naruto shielded himself with a wood wall as his attacking forest was blown into pieces, wood splinters flying everywhere. The air was thick with them. A terrifying jutsu. Obviously, this was a technique that manipulated gravity itself. It was truly an almighty push. You cannot beat God, Uzumaki Naruto. You can never stand up to these eyes. Personally, Naruto disagreed. He walked up to stand opposite Pain. The Akatsuki shinobi looked at him arrogantly, and Naruto could not help but respect him. This man could definitely be a hard ninja to fight. But he had no doubt that he would prevail. You may wield the Rinnegan, Akatsuki, but you are no Rikodo Sennin. You have no understanding of the true power of those eyes. An upstart, that is what you are. A child playing with things he has no comprehension of. He watched as the spiky orange-haired man lost his arrogance, to be replaced by anger. The anger gradually gave way to his own amusement. I could say the same to you, child. You may have the Makuten, but you are no Hashirama. Naruto smirked. If only he knew. It was easy enough to deal with that gravity technique once he had faced it. He may have others, though. An attractive technique would complement a repulsive one, the duality of chakra demanded it. He held out the bird seal. Makuten, Tenutsurugi. 100 long pointed stakes of wood with sharp edges rushed towards Pain from all directions again. In a perfect circle. Pain's flung out his hands again. Shinra Tensei. The massive force exploded in all directions, ripping up the ground. Naruto smirked. He would find this one interesting. The hundreds of stakes rushing at Pain bent back, curling almost to the ground, but they did not break. Pain's eyes widened as he saw what was happening. The stakes all snapped back to cut the Rinnegan wielder. Pain, who had not counted on the elasticity of the stakes, pointed both hands at the ground. Banshu Tenon. The earth below Pain was pulled up in a massive columnar explosion of rubble, intercepting each and every one of the stakes. Pain walked out from the rubble he had used to defend himself. Too bad he had used his gravity manipulation to bind his defense together, thought Naruto. That was clever. You are strong, but I repeat. These eyes cannot be defeated. Naruto raised his hands in a ram seal, looking around the ripped-up clearing. Their location was isolated enough for him to let loose a bit without endangering the town. Pain charged at him, engaging in a match of taijutsu. Naruto found that he was fighting an extremely resilient opponent, his powerful strikes were having little effect on the man. Naruto took a hard punch to his stomach, knocking the breath out of him. It seemed that the Rinnegan gave some gifts to its wielder. He could not lay a hand on Pain, no matter how unpredictable he made his strikes. Pain was somehow able to counter each and every one of his hits, and he was using gravity manipulation to counter his raw strength. Naruto shone silver for a moment, and slammed his hands down on the ground. A shockwave similar to the one he had sent at Orochimaru rushed towards Pain, blasting the ground beneath it to bits. Shinra Tensei. This time, the force that blasted outwards from Pain easily overcame his own shockwave and flung him back, painfully striking him hard, breaking bones. Naruto landed a few hundred paces away, falling hard. He could feel his ribs broken, his wrist damaged. If he had a normal body, he would have gone down instantly with multiple broken bones. If he had Hashirama's body fully developed, he could have shaken off that blast easily. But now, he took minor injuries. He concentrated healing chakra to the areas and they healed instantly. His eyes snapped up to Pain in utter resolve. He slammed his palms together and shouted his technique. 6 huge dragons of wood rose out of the earth, floating up in the air magnificently. Naruto stood up on one of them, directing his creations. Naruto flared his chakra, shining bright silver. The dragons began to shine silver as well as they flew in the sky, circling around Pain's location. Pain looked at the sky with wonder, seeing it filled with dragons that shone with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's chakra. He flung out his hands, gathering his chakra for this technique. It would be big. Naruto pumped his chakra through his dragons, as the wood they were made of were so conducive to chakra that it was almost as if they were an extension of him. He could feel Pain gathering his chakra as well, presumably to unleash that huge gravitational push. The dragons floating high in the air opened their mouths, revealing a shining silver light within their mouths. Heavenly pillars of light. A technique he had not used for a long time. It was as stronger than even Baijodama if he wanted it to be, but he wanted to keep the terrain surrounding them relatively undamaged. He used Makuten to conduct, amplify and shape his chakra into pure energy. The dragons dived from every direction towards Pain in a circle, causing the Akatsuki shinobi to gather even more chakra. The air was saturated with the sheer amount of power they were exuding. Makuten, Hikari no Tenahashira, intoned Naruto. 6 huge columns of burning silver light descended from the mouths of the diving dragons, flashing towards Pain in a heartbeat. The air was impossibly bright, filled with Naruto's technique. Shinra Tensei. Another explosion rippled out of Pain, this one larger than ever. The columns of light were not dispelled, only deflected. The 6 columns of light collided with the ground chaotically, thrown out of course by Pain's jutsu. The combined explosion, also joined by Pain's gravity manipulation, caused a huge explosion, multiple shockwaves emanating from it. Naruto's sight went wide as he shielded himself with a wooden sphere, and let the other 5 dragons dissipate. This fight could not continue at such a level. The village would be destroyed. Already he could feel the massive shockwaves generated buffet the village, but thankfully only at the edge. He watched from high up in the air, standing upon his dragon, high enough in the air to escape that explosion. He could still feel Pain's chakra down there. The cloud of dust parted slowly to reveal the ground. A crater. A crater that spread to at least a kilometer, and went around half a kilometer deep. He could sense the alarm of the villagers. They were frantic. The crater had not encompassed the village, thank Kami. But he assumed that the shockwaves had caused a momentary storm in there. His dragon dived, landing upon the ground. He jumped down to confront Pain, his wood dragon following faithfully behind him. Do you really want to attract so much attention to yourself, Pain? Destroying this village in our fight would cause the villages to focus upon Akatsuki. Do you want that? Pain looked at him impassively. That is of no import. I want you captured, and I will take out anything in my way to see that happen. Perhaps you should stop fighting. Naruto stared back calmly as well sure that Pain knew his answer. The two faced each other inside the crater they had created. The ground started rumbling, the rubble breaking into even finer pieces everywhere as they readied themselves for another bout of combat. The air behind Pain suddenly distorted spirally, causing a man in Akatsuki robes and an orange mask to materialize. Tobi is here. Tobi is a good boy. He will take Leader Sama back to the hideout. The man yelled out in a childish voice. Naruto stared at him. Pain was looking at him with annoyance on his face. But Naruto could sense the Mangekyo Sharingan in the weird orange-masked man, and a very strong chakra. Traces of his own chakra. He was irritated. Why did everyone have his chakra these days? Tobi, I need to finish this. Stay out of it. But Tobi shouted his denial childishly, and gripped Pain's shoulder causing them both to disappear in a swirling vortex of space-time. Naruto sighed. That was one fight he did not want to do in a populated area. He had no intention of becoming responsible for mass slaughter due to collateral damage of all things. Sasuke and Sakura seemed safe. Jiraiya's chakra had also stopped fluctuating, indicating that his fight was over as well. He could sense the pervert moving towards his teammates. He could sense a chakra he had recognized before. Was it him who had assaulted Sasuke? No matter, he would find out the truth today. We have to stop meeting like this, Itachi. Sure enough, the Uchiha appeared in front of him, Mangekyo Sharingan blazing. Tsukuyomi. Naruto suddenly found himself in an empty world where clouds raced against a blood-red sky. Itachi appeared in front of him. Naruto tested the nature of the genjutsu by sending out momentary pulses of his own chakra. Strong. Very strong, indeed. To actually put someone who was a sensor type, a Jinchuriki, and him in a genjutsu of this strength was exceptional. He gathered his chakra and sent it out in a huge blast. His eyes widened when the world did not even waver. Something stronger was needed. I need to talk to you, Naruto-kun. I cannot do so if you keep irritating me with those blasts of chakra. Naruto steadied Itachi. You know this cannot hold me. I do. But I wish to talk to you, and this is the safest way. I control space and time in this perception. What did you do with Sasuke? The world shifted into his hotel room, where he saw Sasuke facing down Itachi, Mangekyo blazing. I will never forgive this, Itachi. The two brothers faced each other, their accursed eyes meeting. Amaterasu, they shouted in unison. In the center of the quarter materialized a large torrent of black fire. The entire place was melting away with the sheer heat, both brothers trying to dominate and control the heavenly flames. Sasuke was screaming, unused to the Mangekyo while Itachi grimly pressed on. The corridor had caught fire entirely, actually melting into some slag and still not extinguishing. A shockwave suddenly disturbed the building, causing Sasuke to lose control of the flames. The young Uchiha had given out from his first overuse of Mangekyo. Itachi turned with surprised eyes towards Naruto's and Pain's fight, and disappeared. Naruto observed Itachi quietly as the world turned back to its original state. What happened to Sakura? Itachi sighed. I put all my strength into a genjutsu of 2 layers. One to make Sasuke stab Sakura-san, and the other to make him believe that the wound was deep. It is not easy to overpower Sharingan, but I can do it. Naruto nodded. From your emotions, and your actions, I can only conclude that your aims do not lie with Akatsuki. Tell me, what happened in the Uchiha massacre? Hiruzen was going to tell me, but he was killed. Will you tell me? Itachi looked at him sharply. Yes, I know all about that. You, Naruto-kun, are an enigma. You have the pure raw strength of Hashirama, you have his potent chakra, and you use his exact same techniques. I have my suspicions about you, but I would like you to tell me in exchange for the truth about the Uchiha massacre. Naruto considered. If Itachi proved to be trustworthy after all this, then he most definitely would deserve to know his secret. You go first, Itachi. Show me what happened that night. Itachi nodded and the world began to change and mirror the events of the massacre, and Itachi's perspective. A young Itachi learning and perceiving the truths of the village and its ancient heritage. A young Itachi learning of the balance of power in the elemental nations. A slightly older Itachi becoming Anbu, after making Chunin and Jounin at unprecedented ages. Playing with an adorable little Sasuke. The Uchiha clan and the council recruiting him to spy on each other. Itachi's miserable life as a double agent. The Uchiha clan planning a coup and making Itachi a central part of it. Itachi informing the council, who decided the elimination of the entire clan was wise. Itachi taking the job on, to spare chaos in the village. Him making contact with the man who claimed to be Uchiha Madara. The two of them slaughtering the clan. Mikado and Fugaku Uchiha accepting death in their son's presence, telling him he was too gentle. Itachi torturing Sasuke to make him learn hate, his heart breaking into a million pieces the entire time. Becoming a missing nin and taking it all upon his shoulders. Joining Akatsuki and protecting Konoha always from the shadows. The vision slowly faded away, leaving Naruto to face Itachi within the original Genjutsu. Naruto looked at Itachi with absolute admiration and respect, mixed with sadness. What a man! What greatness and nobility! He bowed deeply to Itachi. You are great, Itachi. So great that even my sacrifices dwarf in comparison to yours. You deserve to know my secret. Listen carefully, and know your answer. Use that Mangekyo of yours to stare at my mind's reflection. Naruto used the connection Itachi had allowed between them to show him the truth of his own identity and watched as Itachi's face began to transform from stoic to true wonder and joy. He ended the visions at the point when Hiruzen was convinced beyond belief that he was Hashirama. A smile lit up Itachi's face, his eyes burning with happiness and amazement. Amazing, to have you back as Uzumaki Naruto, Hashirama-sama. With you protecting the village. Don't get too comfortable, Itachi. I may be strong, and I will surpass even my old strength. Itachi could not help but gasp at this. But there is more to the Akatsuki than just what has been revealed. The one who called himself Uchiha Madara in your past was an imposter. Itachi's face grew even more surprised, but Naruto continued urgently. I need to tell you what I think. I think that the imposter is involved with Akatsuki for a reason. Pain has the Rinnegan, as you well know. He has no mastery over those eyes, or the battle would have been much tougher. Do not let your guard down because I am back, Itachi. Konoha needs you now more than ever. Itachi nodded, still looking uncharacteristically happy. But my burdens are lessened, Hashirama-sama. With you watching over Sasuke, my plans for him are unnecessary. I will not turn him into the darkness anymore and orchestrate my own death. I can protect Konoha better if I am alive now. Naruto nodded. I have no doubt that you have read the tablet in the Nakano Shrine? Itachi nodded. That is how I got the secrets of the Mangekyo, Naruto continued. Then you know of the history between Senju and Uchiha. You must have an idea of the Rinnegan's power. If Pain attacks again with all his strength, I will be the only one standing between him and Konoha's destruction. There is much more to this. What do you mean when you say, Pain's full strength, Hashirama-sama? Listen carefully, Itachi. I could sense that Pain was nothing more than a puppet, and that he was being controlled by chakra transmission from another location. I could sense 5 other such puppets and I assume they each wield the 6 paths. Itachi looked very alarmed now. If the true Pain attacks with all 6 paths unified. Yes. Only I can defeat such a person, as Konoha stands now. There must be a reason he is using the splitting of paths. You must find out, Itachi. I will be concentrating on getting back to my full strength, so I can defend Konoha when Akatsuki makes their move. I will find out, Hashirama-sama. And one last thing. You are the only one who can decipher more of the Rinnegan's secrets. You know what you must do. Will you consider it? Itachi nodded slowly. I will. Will you tell Sasuke of your identity? He is a child, Itachi. A troubled one, but a child nevertheless. I will burden him with such knowledge only when he is ready. I want him to be my true friend, not my follower. On that note, I would ask you to drop the honorifics as well. Call me Hashirama, here. Alright, Hashirama. I think we have spoken as much as necessary. I can feel Jiraiya-sama approaching. The time will come when the nations will rise up against Akatsuki, Itachi. Please keep Konoha safe until such a time. Itachi nodded and the illusion broke, leaving Naruto facing Itachi in the devastated crater. You are a greater shinobi than me, Itachi. You have my word that your sacrifice will not be forgotten by Konoha. And I will take care of Sasuke. Don't worry about him. Concentrate on Akatsuki, and we will meet when you see fit. A smile broke through Itachi's face, before he disappeared. Naruto turned around, and spoke. What happened, Uro-sennin? The white-haired sage appeared in the crater, whistling at the scale of the damage. Who did you fight, Gaki? I fought Kisame to a stalemate, and still did not cause this much damage. Naruto sighed. I will tell you everything later. But first, are Sasuke and Sakura safe? They are. Kakashi and Guy followed Sakura here and got them out of that burning hotel. They are on the way back to Konoha. Those flames were Amaterasu, weren't they? I had to seal them up with my strongest fire suppressor. We can talk in a more secure environment, Uro-sennin. Too many secrets. Jiraiya nodded, and the duo disappeared with a shunshine. That Rinnegan wielder, he is a very serious threat, Uro-sennin. You said a former student of yours had awakened those eyes, but my opponent did not look like him. Jiraiya looked very interested. If I didn't have to deal with Kisame, and then extract Sasuke and Sakura, I would have loved to have a look at your opponent. Can you henge into him? Makuten, henge. Standing before the Toad Sage was an Akatsuki-cloaked man, with orange spiky hair. The legendary Rinnegan eyes blazed, giving off a sense of unfathomable power. Jiraiya gasped. Yahiko? You fought Yahiko? Naruto transformed back into his original body. No. I sensed that the one I fought was being controlled via chakra transmission. I know he was the embodiment of Tendu, the divine path of the Rinnegan. Jiraiya looked confused. If you are right, then Yahiko is dead. No one else has the chakra to transplant those eyes onto themselves. It has to be a descendant of the Rikodu Sennin. So Nagato is the one behind all this, and is still alive. And what did you mean by paths? Nagato. So that is his name. Ah, yes. The much is known about the Sage of the Six Paths, or about those eyes. I know that it has 6 paths, Deva, Asura, Preta, Naraka, Animal, and Human. There is much more to those eyes, but this is all I know about it for sure. The rest of what I know is the usual legend about the Sage. I believe I faced the Deva path today. His jutsu was Shinra Tensei after all. He was an extremely formidable opponent, and I think if he comes at me with all 6 paths unified in his true body, I will have to fight quite seriously. Then we need more information. If someone using Nagato's eyes, or Nagato himself has resurfaced, it is indeed a serious threat. Akatsuki is becoming very strong, and I think they will continue to quietly gather strength before making a bid for the Baijuo. Especially after you forced a stalemate with Pain, concluded Jiraiya with concern. I can match Pain, Uro-sennin. But Sasuke has awakened the Mangekyo thanks to Itachi, and Itachi himself is doing all he can to obtain more power. Konoha will be in safe hands even without me. Jiraiya nodded, and the two sat quietly for a while. It's time to go, Uro-sennin. Sasuke and Sakura are safe in Konoha, and we will do what needs to be done to get Tsunade back. I should never have brought Sasuke along, but I suppose it all worked out. Naruto stopped his ponderings of yesterday's conversation and stared at the town they had just reached. Danzaku Town, the place where Tsunade was sighted last. They were here, finally. Naruto held up a half-ram seal, immersing himself in his sensory perception of chakra. His senses extended for a mile in every direction, searching, questing. There. A large chakra, too familiar. It may or may not be Tsunade, but it certainly felt like the chakra of the Senju clan. Found her, Uro-sennin. Or at least female members of the Senju clan. I have a lock on her location, and I can lead us there directly. Jiraiya nodded, and the 3 of them followed Naruto through the town. Naruto had healed Sasuke and Sakura, the 2 having sustained only minor damage. Sasuke's chakra exhaustion was dealt with easily enough, and the Uchiha had become as quiet as the grave since the altercation with his brother. Kakashi and Guy had taken his teammates back to Konoha. As much as he hated to admit it, Sakura was a liability as of now. Kakashi had been furious with her. But she was yet to recover completely, and Sasuke had wanted to go back. Naruto thought of Itachi, and his plans for Sasuke. He really wanted to tell Sasuke everything, but he respected Itachi too much to interfere in Uchiha affairs. Instead he told Sasuke of Itachi's deception with Sakura to get him to develop Mangekyo Sharingan. He could certainly point Sasuke towards the answers. It wasn't his place to brainwash Sasuke about the village's importance. It was a decision each shinobi had to make for himself. Sasuke had caught on then, becoming introspective and silent. He was actually putting the facts together, and was asking himself why Itachi did what he had. Naruto hoped that the answer he found would not cause him to lose himself. Sasuke had shown no intention of wanting to continue with the mission, instead wanting to go back to the village. He claimed he had to read something he couldn't before. Naruto understood. "I will try my best to reunite Sasuke with you, Itachi. It is my promise as a shinobi. I only hope he won't lose himself to the darkness when he learns what happened to you." They paused in front of a bar in a busy street. Naruto looked at Jiraiya. "This is the place, Uro-sennin. Shall we go?" Jiraiya nodded, looking anxious and happy at the same time. He pushed open the doors and Jiraiya followed, and he set course towards Tsunade's chakra. His sensing led him to an occupied table with a pig crawling upon it. He lifted his head and gazed upon his granddaughter, his grown-up granddaughter. When had the little girl become so beautiful? Her blonde hair was now long and in pigtails, just like when she was little. Her body was perfect, with rather large assets. Naruto took his mind and eyes off there. She was his granddaughter, for God's sake. He calmed himself and kept staring at her face, affection in his eyes. Family. This time, his direct descendant. He couldn't wait to tease the hell out of her. Tsunade stopped her steady consumption of sake, and stared back at him. A short-haired brunette woman considerably younger than Tsunade reached for the peacefully grunting pig on the table. "What are you looking at, Gaki?" Naruto felt really out of his depth. Tsunade used to be a little girl whom he taught gambling, not this grown woman who consumed sake. He felt a temptation to wrest the sake bottle from her hands and scold her till she cried. Jiraiya appeared behind Naruto, noting his discomfort. Naruto looked like a startled deer as he stared at Tsunade with a conflicted face. "Jiraiya," shouted Tsunade, her attention off the kid. "Hello, Tsunade. Looking as beautiful as ever," said Jiraiya, attempting to sound debonair. "What are you doing here, pervert? It seems too much of a coincidence for two teammates to visit me at once." "You mean Orochimaru?" "What did he say?" asked Jiraiya, drawing up a chair to sit opposite Tsunade. Naruto did the same, still trying to collect himself. Tsunade looked nonchalant. "Nothing, just stopped by to say hello. You know, we haven't seen each other in so long. That's more than I can say for you, you pervert." Jiraiya opened his mouth, but Naruto beat him to it. "Liar. Orochimaru never just says hello to anybody." "You lie, Tsunade. Didn't your parents teach you lying was a bad habit?" asked Naruto with a grin. He knew full well that her parents had taught her not to lie. He on the other hand had unintentionally taught her the opposite when he showed her gambling. Tsunade scowled, as she saw Naruto grinning. Jiraiya too smiled but dropped it when Tsunade glared at him. "Who's the kid, Jiraiya?" "Uzumaki Naruto. Don't bother denying the lie, Tsunade. He is a very strong censor. Anyway, do you know what has been happening in Konoha?" Tsunade gasped a little and looked closer at Naruto. "No, I know only that Sarutobi-sensei is dead, and some rumors. You're the one they are calling the god of shinobi now. They say you have Makuten of all things, and you destroyed Iwa's army with it. Rumors, they get overblown sometimes, huh? Anyway Gaki, how dare you call me, a Sanin, a liar?" "Well, you did lie. Thus, you are a liar," said Naruto amusedly. Anyway Jiraiya interrupted hurriedly, seeing Tsunade's temper rising. "The village wants you back, Tsunade. It is time for you to return, you are being recalled officially." Tsunade stared at him, and laughed. "I will never go back to that village after all I suffered there, Jiraiya. You know that. Is the village in need of my healing now? Has the medical wing grown so lax in my absence?" Naruto snorted. What was wrong with her? She had allowed herself to become too jaded and presumptive. "Look, Tsunade, Uro-sennin and I are not here for your healing. In fact, I can heal people as well as you can. No, we need you for something else." Jiraiya looked at her seriously. "We need you to come back, and become the Godime Hokage of Konoha, Tsunade. The village is in shambles and we need a strong hand to guide us. It cannot be me, for obvious reasons. So it must be you. You are chosen." Tsunade snarled to her companion, Shizune, I cannot believe this. Look at the gall of the pervert, asking me to become Hokage of that god-forsaken village. The position of Hokage is trash. The previous Hokage led feudal lives, finally giving up their lives for a place that never appreciated their great sacrifices. I have no intention of leading such a village, never. Naruto flared a bit of his chakra in surprise, causing the table to crack up. It seemed nothing could get through to Tsunade. Not for the first time since he set eyes upon her, he wished she had remained a little girl. Is that really what you think, Tsunade? Is that what you believe about Konoha? Tsunade didn't even look at him. Nice trick, Gaki. But I have more chakra in my pigtails than you have now. So, enough with the flaring please. Jiraiya shook his head with resignation as Naruto's face hardened slightly. Then, care to make a bet? Fight. Just the two of us. You win, I pay of all your debts. Don't worry, I have the resources. I win, you come back to Konoha and become Hokage. Tsunade looked at Naruto as if he had lost his mind. Suicidal Gaki. Alright, I'll bite. Let's take this outside. Shizune and Jiraiya sighed, the latter giving Naruto a meaningful look. Naruto nodded. Time to see how much his granddaughter had improved. Jiraiya, Shizune and Tonton all stood to the side as Naruto faced Tsunade in the alley. Tsunade lifted up a finger. All I need to beat a kid like you is a single finger. Naruto smiled, thinking of the past. How odd to have his own words thrown back at him. Oji-san. Ka-san taught me how to kick. Prepare to lose, declared a 5-year-old Tsunade, facing her grandfather. Ha ha ha. Tsunade-chan, I am still stronger than you in taijutsu. I kick loads better than you. The only thing you can beat me in is gambling, laughed Senju Hashirama. Tobirama looked at his brother and sighed. Only you could be beaten at gambling by a child, Hashirama. You were always horrible at it, but you taught your own granddaughter your bad gambling. And now you get beaten by her. Honestly. Hashirama looked indignant. Hey, I beat you last time. Right. After you sent a wood clone to ask Mito for advice. That was hardly fair. Hashirama looked sheepish. Well. Oji-san. Let's fight, yelled an obviously irritated little Tsunade. Hashirama looked at his granddaughter, and lifted up a finger. What are you doing? Asked Tsunade cutely, tilting her head to the side. All I need to beat you is a single finger, Tsunade-chan. I'll keep it fair, then said Naruto and lifted up his own finger. Tsunade smirked. Your funeral. Tsunade appeared in front of him, and thrust the finger towards his chest fast, but Naruto blocked it. The pressure of the collision created a small shockwave. Naruto grimaced. She was very strong. Stronger than him, physically. He jumped backwards, his broken finger glowing green with healing chakra. As his bones mended, Naruto reflected. Tsunade had found a way to harness extreme physical strength instantaneously. He himself needed to gather chakra for a few moments to enhance his strength many times over. That was the basis of the Nature Fist. Naturally he was strong, yes. But from what he saw of Tsunade, she had found a way to increase her chakra control to ultimate refinement. He dropped into the first stance of the Nature Fist, holding up only the now mended finger. Chakra began reinforcing that finger, causing Tsunade's eyes to widen. This time Naruto took the initiative, rushing at his errant granddaughter fast. Their fingers met with the force of rampaging bulls, causing the ground to crack. They disappeared from sight, clashing furiously, fighting only with their forefingers. Strength met strength as the Nature Fist began to unveil its power. Naruto steadily gathered chakra and his strikes became stronger and stronger. Tsunade, to his surprise, was easily able to match his strength. Impressive. The girl really did deserve to be one of the Densetsu no Sannin. Tsunade suddenly lifted her finger high and with a yell, brought it down on Naruto's head. Naruto blocked it with his own forefinger, but the strength was too much. Tsunade had put a lot into that strike. He was smashed into the ground, multiple bones broken. He lay groaning in the depression he had created with his fall. Tsunade landed in front of him. You are very strong, but not enough to match a Sannin. Too bad you lost the bet, Gaki. Naruto's body glowed green, and bones began to mend themselves automatically. Tsunade gasped, as she recognized her ultimate jutsu used by that kid like it was nothing. Naruto got up, shaking his head. If he unleashed too much chakra, he would alert the wrong people. The situation called for a more elegant solution. I must not unleash my chakra too much, but I will end this fast. Naruto closed his eyes, his shoulder-length blonde hair rippling in the wind. A silver sheen emanated from his body, as he filtered his chakra to a higher purity. Nature chakra. So pure, he whispered. The air around Naruto began to feel heavy. Naruto opened his eyes, staring at Tsunade. Only other sages can sense this chakra. Let us see how you do when I use my chakra at this purity, Tsunade. He appeared in front of Tsunade and flicked her with his finger. Tsunade caught the flick with her own finger, but was sent crashing into the ground, creating an even deeper crater. Dust rose from the site, shrouding Tsunade and Naruto. "Tsunade-sama," cried Shizune, running to Tsunade. Naruto stared down at Tsunade, who had markings appear on her forehead. He should not have damaged her this much. He supposed Tsunade would have met his chakra with her own if only she could have sensed it. She was unprepared for his enhanced strike. That chakra he had used was special. "Yen seal. Release," came her weak voice. He could feel Tsunade's injuries healing up, and her chakra dropped down slightly. Naruto felt proud of his granddaughter. She had come far. "Doten, Chiki no Iyasu," said Naruto, his palms upon the earth. The damage wrought by their fight was erased, and the ground went back to a somewhat normal state. Tsunade stared at him with wide eyes. He could feel clearly her churning surprise. "You fight like a senju, Gaki. That taijutsu of yours reminds me of." Tsunade trailed off, scrutinizing Naruto with a critical eye. "To be fair, this was a draw. You healed yourself after I knocked you down and I did the same. So the bet is still not resolved. We need to find a new contest," she finished. Naruto thought fast. By Tsunade's reputation, it was obvious what contest she would choose. He nodded. Time to see if his luck had changed. "Let's gamble." "Thank you for coming, Kushina," said Mito. She had appropriated a compound for the Uzumaki clan. "No matter, Mito-sama. Setting up the Uzumaki clan again formally is a lot of work. In fact, I am glad you called me." "Forget the formalities, Kushina. We are family after all. I called you here to run an idea by you. My husband and I are the only husband and wife of true Uzumaki blood, as of now. Unless..." Kushina looked sad. "Don't mention it, Mito-san. I am always faithful to my husband the same way you are always faithful to yours." Mito looked solemn. "No, Kushina. I would never use you to breed our clan. Uzumaki have higher ideals than that. I was about to say that we need to look for other Uzumaki in the countries. We were scattered by the war, and are now scarce. The remaining Uzumaki must stay together if our clan is to be born again from the ashes. Who would we send to do this task? I am going myself. It is within my rights as clan head. I am sure my husband will accompany me. Will you?" "Of course I will. The council would never accept this, though. Depriving Konoha of Naruto for an extended period of time would never sit well with them," said Kushina. "My husband has revealed his Makuten, but he still is yet to regain his old strength. I have influence enough to make them let go of him. They know I was Hashirama's wife, and that I am the only one alive who knows anything about Makuten except him. You are also a force to be reckoned with. 3 years of absence for training should suit our purposes well enough, don't you think?" Kushina smiled. This would be an excellent opportunity to rebuild their family. And an opportunity to get to know her son better. "I agree." The council of Iwa stood up, greeting their Tsuchikage. Aniki floated to his chair, and signaled them to sit. He looked around at them, anger slowly blooming across his diminutive face. "You know why we are here. Konoha defeated us yet again. We never stood a chance against that boy. The council is gathered to discuss our counter to Konoha's god of shinobi. Few exist who can match his power, which by the way is still growing. We need allies." The council started muttering in low voices. The seriousness of the situation was not lost on them, obviously. An elderly shinobi stood up. "Suna is an option. They too were beaten back by Konoha, and their Jinchuriki was captured. Surely they will consider an alliance with us. Too bad we can't just invade them," muttered a Jounin. Aniki shot a sharp look at him, making him quail. "No more invasions for a long while. We need to recover first. Anyway, Kiri is strongly tending towards an alliance with Konoha, and Kumo already signed an agreement with them. I am afraid Suna is our only option, weak though they are." There were muttered agreements all around the council of the Tsuchikage. The air to the side of the table spiraled into a single point, spitting out 2 red-cloaked men. One had an orange mask and the other was a handsome blonde with golden hair. "Hello, old man. Toby, you moron, would you stop tugging on my sleeve? Deidara? How dare you come here? I have no agreements with Akatsuki as of now. Leave before I turn you to dust. Ordered Anaki, looking irritated. Humphrey, as if. My art is higher than yours. Enough, Toby. Screamed Datara. Toby hid himself behind a pillar, yelling apologies to his senpai. Datara turned back to Anaki. I am here to tell you not to interfere with Suna, old man. We predicted your intentions, and I was sent here to make you an offer. The council was staring at their new nin with outrage and fear, but were calmed by Anaki. The Tsuchikage faced Datara. Get on with it, boy. My back isn't getting any better. Datara grinned. Yeah. You continue hiring our organization, and we can guarantee you Suna's support besides our own. Anaki looked disbelieving. Really, Datara? Just for so much money, you'll guarantee a nation's support along with the power of 9's class ninja? Not really. You see, we have another condition. We need you to grant us haven in Iwa, if we need. The choice is yours, old man. The council was shocked by this demand, but Anaki was considering. Kumo and Kiri would not deal with a humiliated nation. Suna was the only choice, and Akatsuki's strength was unquestionable. Here came Datara, promising him the aid of Suna and Akatsuki. He could save his men by avoiding a takeover of Suna. He doubted that Suna would be amenable to an alliance. That boy Naruto could defeat him in an all-out fight if it came down to it, and Konoha had the strength of individuals. He would put Iwa above anything, even his own morals. That is what Musama had taught him. That was the Nii Daim's legacy. He made his decision. Naruto was grinning happily, as he walked alongside Jiraiya. He had actually won at gambling, hands down. His luck had improved. He couldn't wait until he told Mito. True, he had beaten Tsunade, whose luck at gambling was as bad as his own, but still it was a start. I won at gambling, I actually won, shouted Naruto, too happy to keep a low voice. Jiraiya too looked happy. Good thing too, you got Tsunade to agree. She was always notorious for failing to follow through with payment when she lost, though. We need to keep an eye on her. She might still be considering Orochimaru's offer, you know, said Jiraiya pensively. Naruto looked angered now. Let him come. I will end him. I know you want him to pay for Sensei's death, I do too. But he is too strong to take down without a large-scale battle, and we don't want any more attention drawn to ourselves. Wasn't that battle with Akatsuki enough? Naruto calmed down at that. Nevertheless, no grandchild of his would ever be in league with Orochimaru. He admired the Snake Sanin's skill and resilience, but hated everything else about him. I will still try to kill Orochimaru if I set eyes on him again. He is too dangerous. No way will I let Tsunade turn her back on Konoha. Jiraiya nodded. I will speak to Tsunade about it. Anyway, how is your progress with the Rasengan? I finished stage 1, so saying. Naruto took out a water balloon and circulated chakra violently in it. The balloon burst in a shower of water. Great job. Now, the second step. Try to pop these rubber balls, said Jiraiya, and gaily tossed him a sack of the stuff. Naruto grumbled, and went to work. At least learning the Rasengan for a while would help him clear his head after meeting his jaded and world-weary granddaughter. He really wished he could talk to Mito about all this. Worry shot through him as he remembered the Rinnegan user. He had fought only the Deva path. He absently got out a rubber ball and got to work. This step obviously emphasized power, just as the previous step had emphasized rotation. Just like Baja Urama. Rotation. Power. Containment. Containment was easy enough, he already did that with his heavenly pillars of light. The problem was power, how to introduce more power into the Rasengan. Uchiha Sasuke stood in front of the secret Nakano shrine of the Uchiha, his eyes morphing into the Mangekyo Sharingan. His eyes alighted upon the tablet supposedly carved by the Sage of the Six Paths himself. He began to read, noting the difference in perception between the Sharingan and the Mangekyo Sharingan. He could comprehend more of the tablet. Eagerly he read on. Somehow, the evolution of his eyes had led him to being able to read the tablet in more detail. Still, he knew that the tablet contained much more information. As he read, his face changed from eagerness to disbelief to anger. Damn you, Itachi. You had to give me these eyes. If only I knew what was going on with you. Sasuke-kun. Sasuke shook himself out of his daze, looking properly at the woman who had called him. He was at Naruto's apartment, and Kushina was doting over him as usual. Lucky Naruto. I'm sorry, Kushina-san. I was just thinking about my eyes. He had told Kushina everything, from his Mangekyo to what light Naruto had shed on Itachi. He knew Naruto knew more than he let on, but one look at his teammate's face had told him that it was confidential. He had to find out for himself, it seemed. Kushina had been very worried when she learned that Naruto had been in another dangerous fight. He trusted Kushina for some reason. She was like his mother, unassuming and always ready to help. So he told her everything. If only I could tell him what happened with Itachi. Jiraiya, Naruto, Mito and I are the only ones who know, apart from the council and the Sandaime. My son has not told him for a reason, and I trust his judgment. I am so sorry, Sasuke. You will have to find out for yourself, thought Kushina. Sasuke-kun, I believe you will find the answers only if you speak with Itachi candidly. That will also give you closure. I know how much you are hurting from that incident, but you have me and Naruto now. Not to mention Mito-san. Sasuke did a double take as Mito was mentioned. The woman holding Naruto's hand back then was the new clan head of Uzumaki. He did not even know there was such a clan till now. But the beautiful woman called Mito had taken that mantle, and she seemed unnaturally close to Naruto. The council had introduced her to the public as a long-lost Uzumaki sealing mistress returned to Konoha again. The Jounin however seemed to look at her with respect and worship. Kushina-san too seemed really respectful with her. She seemed to be a really important person. His eyes registered her strength and confidence, and he realized that this was no ordinary kunoichi. Thoughts of his eyes banished the curious Uzumaki Mito from his mind. Knowing what he knew from the Nakano Shrine, the Mangekyo Sharingan was a burden. He would not go blind. He would not. I won't die before restoring the Uchiha clan, Itachi. If I have to get the Eternal Eyes by killing you, then so be it. But I will find out the truth about you first. Naruto focused hard on his 66th rubber ball. He was only able to puncture them by now, not pop them. Jiraiya had said it was fine and had started him on the third stage. That one came to him easily, and he had learned the Rasengan fast enough. But it could be so much more. It had been 2 days since he met Tsunade, and Jiraiya had gone to talk with her. Tsunade, it appeared, was indeed notorious about following through with payments. She kept putting off the trip with some excuse or the other. He hoped Jiraiya would be able to talk her out of her stubbornness as he didn't want to reveal himself this soon. He would rather do that after he reacquainted himself with Tsunade to a certain degree. He gathered his chakra and pumped it violently through the rubber ball, causing it to puncture and lose air slowly. He was trying to improve the second phase, increase the power of the Rasengan. What am I doing wrong? With a water balloon I rotated my chakra constantly in chaotic manner. Here I do the same and the ball only punctures no matter how much power I use. Hey, who would have believed I would get a chance to instruct you, Hashirama? Asked Kyubi, who seemed to be rather happy. What do you mean? Would you come in here? It's really irritating to break through your suppression and talk to you this way. Fine. Naruto closed his eyes and stood in his forest mindscape. Kurama was sleeping in his huge wooden cage, and batted open an eyelid as he came closer. You know, Hashirama, you did promise that I could get out of this place soon. I didn't know you were someone to go back on their word. Funny, Kurama. I may be strong this moment, but I am not yet enough to suppress you by chakra alone. You know I need to reach my old strength before I can do that. Kurama looked at him quizzically. Have you forgotten that thrice-damned necklace of yours? No, but I cannot find it. I asked Hiruzen, but he said it wasn't in Konoha. Hashirama, I will tell you where to find the necklace and clue you in about what you are missing with the Rasengan, if you promise to take me out of this cage and let me free, at least in your mindscape. Naruto spied the Baijuo. It seemed reasonable. Once he had his necklace back, he would be able to suppress Kurama without any seals. I agree. Tell me. The nine-tailed fox sighed. I could sense it on that hot blonde woman you were fighting earlier. Your granddaughter. Naruto looked flummoxed. Impossible. I would have felt it at such proximity. Well, you were fighting too intently to sense your chakra's reaction to the thing, but I could sense it all too well. Your necklace is with the woman. And as for that Rasengan of yours, remember its origins, and you will know what you are missing. Naruto was happy. 2 problems solved. All he had to do was get the necklace from Tsunade, and master the Rasengan. Thank you. He opened his eyes and saw again the park he was practicing in. Tsunade and the necklace had to wait, but he could certainly master the Rasengan. Origins. Baijuo was the origin. He closed his eyes again, remembering his final fight with his friend and rival Uchiha Madara. Damn, he armored the Baijuo with Susanoo. Smart Madara. He remembered the way Kurama looked like a demon lord, holding the twin swords of Susanoo and mirroring the eternal Mangekyo of Madara. The Baiju roared, looking terrifying in its complete armor of chakra. He noted clearly how the chakra coalesced into Kurama's mouth, and its violent rotation. The ball of unbelievably dense chakra seemed to pulse at its edges. Wait, it pulsed at its edges? Naruto opened his eyes immediately, thoughts striking in a torrent. Why would the Baiju Udama pulse? No rotational force pushed outwards in such a way, however chaotic. I'm an idiot. He had to add one more component to the rotation, one that made the Rasengan actually explode upon contact. An outward force from the center had to complement the violent rotation. He picked up a rubber ball, and began again. The turbulence of his chakra was wearing down the ball's durability and he knew it was coming close to the point of puncture. He simultaneously caused his chakra to gather at the center, and focused. A small gathering of chakra, surrounded by violent rotation of chakra. It needs to explode, like the Baiju Udama. Senen's Rasengan is good, but I can make it better. He needed to generate explosive power within the ball. And it had to be done with little effort. He could simply force the explosion, but that would be inefficient. There had to be an answer. He cast aside the shuddering ball and laid down on the ground thinking. Improving the second step was difficult. Jiraiya-sama. Came the concerned voice of Shizune when she saw the Sannin slumped across the table. It had been about 4 hours since he had disappeared with Tsunade for a drink. Tsunade had invited him for a drink to old times, and had apparently drugged him. Jiraiya got up with difficulty, his face showing his near-inert state. Shizune, Tsunade drugged me, I can use only a small portion of my chakra now. I am afraid she means to go to Orochimaru. We need to get her back. Let's go. What about Naruto-kun? Jiraiya slumped down again. Damn Tsunade. She was still as good as she was back then. He had given Naruto instructions about the second and third steps to the Rasengan some 4 hours ago, and come to convince Tsunade. It seemed Naruto would have to reveal himself sooner than expected. No need, Shizune. He will already have sensed my drop in chakra. He'll be here in a matter of seconds. True enough, Naruto appeared with a sunshine. The young Jounin seemed to look spent. His clothes were torn up, and he had a few cuts on his face which seemed to be healing fast. Senen, she drugged you, didn't she? I can sense her and Orochimaru, they are fighting. Let's go. I cannot, Naruto. My chakra. Naruto lifted up a hand with green chakra running through it. I can help you there. He laid the healing palm on Jiraiya's chest, and the man stood straighter. That is the best I can do on short notice. Purging drugs require attention to detail I don't have now. We need to rescue Tsunade. Besides, that drug will purge itself eventually. It's enough. Come on, Shizune. Shizune, who was staring wide-eyed at Naruto's casual display of advanced healing, nodded. The three disappeared. There is no need for me to sense Tsunade, Senen. This trail of destruction is enough to track her. It was true. As they went on they could see large craters, smashed walls and general rubble. Jiraiya nodded and looked at Naruto closely as they sped along the trail. Why are you so bruised? Naruto grimaced and held out his hand, forming a perfect Rasengan. You did it. Amazing, not so much, considering it was you. Wondered Jiraiya. Shizune looked stunned as the Rasengan winked out of existence. Naruto grimaced again. It was not the normal Rasengan, I got that easily enough. But I was trying to improve the second phase with my own theories and that got me in this state. I think it will take me a few years to make my hypothesis with the Rasengan a reality. Jiraiya snorted. Of course. Not even Minato was able to improve the Rasengan. But if anyone can do it, it is you. I myself have tried for many years to add Suiten, but it seems impossible. Naruto just looked ahead, shaking off thoughts of his failed experiment with Rasengan. He would improve it, no matter what. The trail had led outside the village to some empty plain where they could see a particularly large crater. 3 people stood there with 1 woman kneeling. Naruto went cold. Tsunade was shivering, looking at something on Orochimaru's hand. What is she doing? He asked Jiraiya urgently, but it was Shizune who answered. Tsunade-sama is afraid of blood. Naruto cursed. Of all possible fears for a shinobi. He glanced at Jiraiya and Shizune, who nodded. 3 chakras. 1 Orochimaru, 1 Kisame, and 1 who I think is Kabuto. Let's go. Naruto disappeared and caught Kisame's hand as it brought Samada down on Tsunade. Argent Chiriki is here at last, laughed Kisame. Orochimaru looked at him warily, and Kabuto stared at him with fascination. Jiraiya appeared next to Tsunade and steadied her. The female Sannin was still shivering as she huddled into Jiraiya. "Rejoined Akatsuki, have we, Orochimaru?" "Didn't expect that," said Jiraiya, noting Orochimaru's Akatsuki cloak. The snake Sannin's hands looked black and withered. Now, Jiraiya, it is mutual benefit and I had to do it earlier than I planned, thanks to dear Naruto-kun. I am sure you understand. Tsunade here tried to kill me while she tried to make me believe she was healing me. If it weren't for Kabuto," Orochimaru trailed off. Naruto stared at Kisame, registering the conversations happening. Kisame knew Naruto would beat him, but he still sensed no hesitation in the man. In fact, the shark-like Akatsuki seemed excited. Hey, too bad I was partnered with Orochimaru. I was beginning to like Itachi-san, chuckled Kisame. Naruto flared a silver chakra and began to crush Kisame's wrist. Suddenly he gasped and flew back, looking at Saimata with realization. "Realized, have you? Saimata can now eat chakra like yours, thanks to the snake here. He did give us a few gifts for letting him return." Itachi wanted to just kill him and be done with it. But no, Leader Sama had to go and reinstate him. He is rather useful, though. Orochimaru smiled at that as Jiraiya handed Tsunade to Shizune, who tried to revive her in vain. "We both have our handicaps, Jiraiya, but I think we know who is stronger." He looked at Naruto. "You know, Naruto-kun, I was flattered by the fact that I sent you into such a rage that you exterminated an entire army of Iwa for me. Thank you, that made my plans a lot easier," he smirked. Kabuto suddenly slammed his hands down on the ground. Kushios no Jutsu. A large snake appeared and hurtled towards Jiraiya, who knew that he was in no condition to summon a worthwhile toad. "Naruto, you take Kisame this time. Shizune, fight that stupid apprentice of Orochimaru. I can hold my own with the snake even with my current chakra. Leave Tsunade for now." Shizune shot off towards Kabuto, as Naruto and Jiraiya faced their respective opponents. Naruto shone silver and disappeared, attacking Kisame with his taijutsu. Kisame blocked, and swiped Saimata through a shroud of silver chakra. Naruto fell to his knees as Saimata burped noisily, consuming more of his chakra. That sword was very irritating. He scowled. Using Kenjutsu against Kisame was not suitable, as it would take too long. Taijutsu too was eliminated. He formed the ram seal as Kisame rushed towards him. He had to take care of Kisame fast, once and for all. Time to wipe out two of the Akatsuki by his own hand. "Makuten. Don't, Hashirama. Get the necklace from her and let me out. I want to play too," came Kurama's voice. Naruto paused in his thoughts, absently dodging strikes from a grinning Kisame. Saimata came down towards his head with stunning speed. Sunshine no Jutsu. He appeared behind Tsunade and put his hand on her neck, feeling for his necklace. There was a chain, he pulled. The necklace glinted, its green pendant shining. He put it on as Tsunade snapped out of her fear-induced shock when he divested her of his necklace. Green chakra blasted out of Naruto in all directions, kicking up a huge wind. Naruto smiled serenely as he felt his chakra become calmer and purer. "I can let you out, Kurama. Make sure you don't damage too much of the land, and do not use Baijo Dama at full strength." "Fine. Now can you just do it?" The fights around him had paused as Tsunade was walking towards Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Kisame was staring at him, and Shizune was groaning at Kabuto's feet. Naruto disappeared, and appeared in the air above Kabuto with Ate Rasengan blazing in his hand. Before the spectacled shinobi could react, he slammed the Rasengan into his chest with explosive force, sending him crashing into the ground. One down. He looked at the three Sannin, who were now staring at each other. Naruto frowned as Kabuto appeared beside his master, the wound dealt by the Rasengan healing rapidly. It appeared as if Kabuto had some weak ability of regeneration. Anyway, it was time to let Kurama out. "Kisame, I believe the Akatsuki wanted the Kyuubi. Feel free to have him," grinned Naruto. He slammed his hands together. "Makuten, Moku Bunshin no Jutsu. Kurama, now that I have my necklace, I have made it so that you can manifest through my wood clone. I think you can only use a part of your strength, but it should be enough," he thought to Kurama. He felt the Baiju'u acknowledge this. A large tower of red chakra exploded from his wood clone, reaching to the skies. Kisame looked at the phenomenon with a kind of happy focus, already ignoring Naruto. Kushios no Jutsu. Naruto turned and saw that the Sannin had called their boss summons, their battle escalating as well. He really wanted to kill Orochimaru, but now he had to be ready to reabsorb Kurama. The Tower of Red Chakra had subsided, leaving his wood clone transformed into a fox human with 4 tails. He could feel its intense chakra, and its elemental desires. He remained on alert, drawing chakra through his necklace. At the height of his strength he could suppress Kurama easily, but for now he had to use the necklace. Kisame would have his hands full. Kurama, who was manifested through his clone, disappeared and slammed his hands down on Kisame. Kisame met the beast with Saimata, and a huge white explosion resulted, devastating the land. Naruto winced. Kisame would hurt after taking that hit. Facing a Baijiu with the strength of your body was madness. Sure enough, Kisame was down to one knee with his face twisted in pain. Bruises covered his body from head to toe. Interestingly, Saimata was buried in Kurama's gut, not piercing him in the slightest. It was bloated to an enormous size and cracks suddenly appeared in its structure. Kisame threw back the beast with a massive heave and stared at his sword. Naruto smiled. The Kyuubi's chakra is practically inexhaustible, Kisame. Through the link to my clone, it can funnel as much chakra as is necessary to its manifestation. Your sword has more indigestion, I believe. Kisame roared with anger, and rushed at the 4-tailed Kyuubi with Saimata held aloft. The Kyuubi raised its hands and they elongated, capturing Kisame in huge fists. Kurama then proceeded to slam Kisame onto the ground repeatedly, dazing the Akatsuki. Kisame was then tossed so hard onto the ground that a small depression appeared. Kurama's bloodlust skyrocketed as hundreds of multicolored balls of chakra floated from his body into the air. Kisame got up groggily, and saw the beast open its mouth. The multiple balls of chakra coalesced into a single ball of massive density. Naruto looked on curiously as Kurama prepared a much less intense version of his true Baijiu Dama. The 4-tailed Kyuubi swallowed the ball and bloated to a comical size. Kisame kept staring at the thing drunkenly, apparently yet to recover from his violent beating. Saimata's hilt snaked around him, giving him chakra. Naruto knew that he was toast as he could feel the staggering amount of chakra Kurama was releasing. A battered Orochimaru and Kabuto appeared by the still recovering Kisame's side, and Kabuto slammed his hands into the ground. Kushios, Sanju Rishomen. 3 demonic gates rose from the ground to defend the Akatsuki trio as Kurama released a huge and blinding bright beam of red energy. Naruto snorted. The Rishomen was just enough to stop that underpowered Baijiu Dama. As it was, the 3 gates exploded into dust, throwing everything into sharp relief. He could feel Jiraiya and Tsunade dispel their summons, and he could feel Orochimaru and his colleagues being tossed far away from the clearing. They weren't dead, too bad. If not for the Rishomen, they would have been at least critically wounded. He could sense them fleeing, though. Akatsuki wouldn't attack so brazenly after so many defeats. He slammed his hands together, and dispelled his wood clone, causing Kurama to unmanifest completely. Good fight, Kurama. Thank you for underpowering your Baijiu Dama. I know firsthand the power in that attack. The shark face underestimated me, Hashirama. From the way he fought, he thought me to be a mindless beast. I think he has fought other free Baijiu before. I really want to tear him apart. Me too. But I have a feeling he won't go down that easily. Naruto turned and ran to Shizune, but Tsunade was already healing her. Jiraiya grinned at him. I see you handed Kisame his 3rd defeat, as expected. Tsunade really roughed up Orochimaru. The snake was literally crawling after his beating. Great job, Haim. Congratulated Jiraiya loudly. Tsunade blushed slightly, and stared up at Naruto with a small amount of respect. That necklace you took is my grandfather's, Gaki. You used it well to manipulate the Kyuubi's chakra, but I need it back. It is very important to me, the only heirloom of my family I have except my grandfather's armor, she requested sadly. Naruto couldn't contain himself. You have my necklace, and now you have my old armor? What else do you have, Tsunade-chan? My old katana? No, my scroll.